across the globe by millions.
In today's episode, I'm going to talk about false flags. So what is a false flag? Well, a false flag is usually something like a attack that you think, oh no, look at that, that's really awful. And it is really awful, but what you've been deceived about is who actually did the attack. So in this case, we're talking about the Bondi Beach shooting on the 14th of December 2025. Now, why might this be a false flag? Well, firstly, let me just say to anybody watching this, the 15 people that were killed, 16 in total, including the older shooter, my hearts go out to you, and very sorry for everything that's happened to you. Well, if you're one of the people dead, you're obviously not watching this, but to your families and those affected. But this is how sick these people that are running these attacks are, that basically no one's safe. No one's safe. Not Jewish people, Christians, Muslims. They're after us all, ultimately. And when I mean who, I mean Satanists, people that worship Lucifer and take this to another level. So let's look at whether the Bondi Beach attack was a false flag attack. So firstly, these are the signs that you can work out to see whether you think it's a false flag or not. So let me share my screen. I don't normally do research on ChatGPT. Well, we're looking at false flags and what the official narrative is. So this is what they're saying, the official narrative. So the 14th of December was the date of the shooting. The 14th of December. 15 people were killed by the gunman, allegedly. The two gunmen, allegedly father and son. And then the police shot the older father, allegedly, and he has died. So 16 in total have died. Now, why might this be a false flag? Well, firstly, because what countries are doing, and they have been doing for some time, particularly the last 26 years, well, 30 years at least, they have been wanting something, and so they've created a scenario to get that something, to get people on board. So in this situation, on the 19th of December, just 5 days after the attack, the Prime Minister of Australia announced the proposed 2026 National Gun Buyback Programme in the wake of the shooting. So 16 people died, yet he's asking for people's guns. Like, this is what they did in England, and now people wish they got their guns. So this is why the main reason, well, one of the main reasons why this is false flag, because ultimately there's a new world order that's coming into play, that's been planned for over 100 years, and it was first called a conspiracy theory. Oh yeah, but it's not. It's just to shut people up using that term. Even Mark Carney, within the last week or so, and Zelensky, President Zelensky, have both talked about the New World Order. And I'll play those clips in a minute. In fact, no, I'll do it now. Just so we do it as we're going along. So this is him talking about it. President Zelensky of Ukraine.
Now, on land, in the air, at the sea, to build a new global order.
Now, I want you to start getting into Freemason symbolism, Illuminati symbolism. You see this? This has been put through those O's deliberately. Because look at the symbol there. 666. The mark of the devil, the mark of the beast. 666. So the World Economic Forum is not your friend. Now let's look at the Carney calling for it as well. On the 15th of January in Beijing.
The world has changed much since that last visit. I believe the progress that we have made in the partnership sets us up well for the new world order.
Okay, so as you can see there, Oh, he's even grinning. Finally, this so-called conspiracy theory is coming true, because a lot of the conspiracy theories are not conspiracy theories, actually, which is more and more I'm finding out. Most of you watching these videos aren't yet subscribed, but it really helps the channel to grow. So do me a favor, it's free of charge, hit that subscribe button now. So the New World Order is real, and this is what they want. This is what they want, a New World Order. What is a New World Order? It is total and utter control of humans, depopulation down to 500 million as like the Georgia Guidestones, as per Bill Gates, a video I've seen of him saying that he wants 500 million people, like he thinks that'd be an ideal number. You will own nothing and be happy, Klaus Schwab, that's what he said. These guys are not going to be owning nothing. They're going to be doing their sordid crimes while 500 million people will be their slaves via the mark of the beast, which is going to be an implant in your right hand or your forehead, possibly, where you are totally controlled, your thoughts, your actions, by the technology that they've put in you, possibly ignited by vaccines that they're going to roll out again, and they already have rolled out. So this is the ultimate goal. Right, just flitting over some stuff there, but that's the ultimate goal, is this New World Order. How they're going to do that, 8 billion people versus, I don't know how many want the New World Order, right? How many is it going to be? Not a lot compared to 8 billion. So the damage that 8 billion people could do if they found out what was going on, because so many people still asleep, well, what's that going to do? They're going to be, they'd be scared. So they want to keep everybody asleep while they, go ahead doing what they want. And so, of course, they want to get rid of people's guns. Tony Blair did it. The first thing he did as soon as he got into power in 1997 in the UK, the first thing he did was change the law so that any prime ministers couldn't get hung for treason. That was the first act he put through. And why was that? Because every prime minister since has allegedly committed treason against the British people. After years out of power, that was the first thing Tony Blair did. That's a major red flag. So the people of England have already gone through what the people of Australia have still got their guns, and in the US. So Australians need to learn from the dire situation the UK is in now, where people have got no guns to defend their land against, to protect themselves and against invaders and against this New World Order government that's going to come in and control everybody. So we know that is the plan, because look, on the 19th of December, literally 5 days... Oh, share my screen. On the 19th of December, literally 5 days after a shooting, suddenly announces the Prime Minister of Australia announces a proposal for 2026 National Gun Buyback Programme in the wake of the shooting. That was obviously the plan all along, to do this attack so that he could then come in and do this buyback programme. So this is what I mean. Even Jewish people aren't safe. They're victims as well. Which is why everybody's got to unite together. And Jewish people sort of don't think they're victims, with the antiseptic laws, because that's going to shut people down who are just trying to save the whole of humanity. Obviously, I meant to say it the way I did. Maybe I could just say it on this channel, I don't know. Probably could. So this is where we know this is a huge false flag, but it gets even more dark, even more evidence that this is a false flag, because on the 12th of January, the Prime Minister of Canada says he's going to have a debate and pass new hate speech and gun control legislation, which related to well, that was mainly about buying guns back and tightening firearm licensing. But on the 15th of January, they had some draft legislation, which was 300 and something pages long, on combating anti-Semitism, hate and extremism bill, which was publicly outlined, proposing a new federal hate speech offences in response to the shooting and broader concerns. Come on. There's no way, over the Christmas period as well, you can get a 300 and something page, like 340 page document, roughly, put together over the Christmas holidays about combating anti-Semitism. That is just impossible. And it's because, where is the figure? The president of the stolen state, Benjamin, he said, literally the day of the attack, your call for a Palestinian state pours fuel on the anti-Semitic fire. It encourages the Jew hatred now stalking your streets. Anti-Semitism is a cancer. It spreads when leaders stay silent, and you must replace weakness with action. So he's immediately coming in and threatening the Prime Minister of Australia. There's just no way that you can bring that in so quickly. This huge document. So it just shows you all along that they did this attack. It was orchestrated. Possibly. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. By the state or by the stolen state to get people to be quiet about the people that were targeted, so they can't say anything. They can't, say anything about them. They'll use them as victims. They don't care. And also terrorize Jewish people. Terror must be scary. All these attacks on them, which, if we look into each one, you're going to see things like this. And you're going to see other things like the gematria calculator and all the different kind of... I don't really know a lot about that, but it's where it's gematrix.org. You put different words in there and it brings up different numbers, and then you sort of like if you put someone's name in it, it might say that their name is 666, or you put a date in it and it's 666 or 311. So sometimes when you look at, because these people that want this new world order, they're ultimately worshipping Lucifer, and you've got to, if you're worshipping Lucifer, you've got to prove to him that you are showing the world that he is your idol. And all these different numbers have significant meaning. That's why you always see politicians about saying the number 33, because that's the 33 rung on the Freemasons ladder. It's the top. So Freemasonry is in on this as well. So, well, I mean, the New World Order. So, yeah, that's why you might see them saying, 33 hours later, $33, $33,000. Like, start looking at that as well. Maybe I should get a Gematrix calculator expert here. Here we go. Look, Gematria calculator. You put things in and so this explains it more, but this is really relevant because when you, well, I didn't really know enough about it, so I might just sound like I'm waffling, but ultimately, when you start looking at the Bondi Beach attack, it has got a lot of significant numbers, yeah, in relation to it. So now, the sad news is that lots of people in Australia have now handed the guns back. Let me find, I think it's 80-something thousand so far. So people are literally falling for this. 83,000, that was 4 days ago, so it's going to be more now. So everybody believes that people that they've really been targeted, and they've given the guns up, thinking, yeah, guns are killing people. But when 16 people die on an aeroplane crash, or 16 people die on the road, more people die on the road every day in a car crash than 16. We don't go, oh, let's get rid of cars. And a lot of people are deliberately murdered by somebody running them over with a car. That's deliberate. We don't say get rid of cars. When there's an aeroplane crash, we don't say get rid of aeroplanes. When there's, you know, a ship sails, we don't say get rid of ships. We don't need to get rid of guns. They are there, particularly in the States, for people to protect themselves, not only from others, but also from the state. And that is what the whole of humanity need, is to protect themselves from the state, which is getting more technocratic. It's not been diplomatic for a long time because there really is no left and right. Left and right is left and right, two feathers of the same bird. You literally get the same outcome. I'll give you an example. When Boris Johnson got in, the reason why he got in is because he said he was going to stop all the immigration, because in the UK they don't have much, they never really had much immigration. It was like 90-something% English in England, or certainly white. And then people were kind of worried about Sharia law, so they wanted a change. Well, Boris Johnson got in, and he allowed the most legal and illegal immigrants. Well, I don't know about illegal, but he definitely allowed the most legal immigrants from Asia and Africa in than ever before, like nearly 1 million, just shy of 1 million, plus the illegals. It would have been 1 million. So it didn't make any difference. This whole left and right thing's an absolute hoax. I've realised only recently, I have to say. But at least I'm now I'm no longer a sheep. Thank goodness I didn't die a sheep. So it's up to us to wake everybody up now. So I really urge the Australians, do not give your guns back, guys, because you need them to protect yourself. You need them. And I wish we could have all known this before they all handed those back. Because the people in the UK are exceptionally worried about what's going on, you know, with digital ID. Keir Starmer wants to bring that in. Tony Blair, his son is involved in it. He wanted to bring it in. It's not just some digital ID. It's much worse than that. I'll do another video on that though. They're even calling it brick card, but it's nothing patriotic. Now, some of these attacks as well, they're actually by some people that have been MK Ultra'd. Some of these attackers from a young age, mind control, that is happening all over the world. Yeah, and just one other thing, the Talmud says that they can lie to non-Jews. So a lot of people know what the Quran says, but they're not aware that the Talmud says exactly the same thing, that they're allowed to lie to the non-Jews, and that they are also, let me bring this up, but I want you to start looking into false flags, and I'm talking about 9/11, 7/7, Bondi Beach, the Boston Marathon, and October. There's just some of them. And also we should look at the Manchester synagogue attack. What did Keir Starmer say he wanted after that? So yeah, have a look into it. And there is actually a YouTube video you could watch about 7/7, and maybe I'll do a video on that separately. So my message today is, Aussies, do not give your guns up. They're there to protect yourself, but Aussies, keep your guns. Don't become like the UK. They're coming for you next. They'll take your guns and they'll flood your country. So that's what they're going to do. They're going to do the same plan they've done in the UK. The UK lads, women, men, they've messed up by not keeping hold of the guns, but they were completely brainwashed by the media. So it's not their fault, but you can at least learn from the UK. So keep your guns, don't give them back, and because otherwise you're going to be just like the UK is now. And Americans watching this, which you're probably not, but if you are, say hello in the comments and keep your guns as well to protect yourself. It's your right. And look at the people that want you to give up your guns and be like, yeah, what is your motive? Yeah, actually another one is the Sandy Hook, isn't it? I'll have to look into that one as well. All right, guys, thanks a lot for watching. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell notifications button. It really does help the channel grow. And I'll see you in the next video. Here's another video for you coming up here where it's showing you exactly what is going on that you should watch now.